Go do an unboxing of the Panasonic GH5 in this video. Everybody knows, if you've been following along on this channel, I've been going through some cameras, and I've been selling them and keeping them, and just depending on which ones I like best. So I want to try this one out. This one has pretty much everything you could ask for in a camera, with the only bad thing being the autofocus. And to my knowledge, I think with the new version 2 firmware update, that solves a lot of that. Now, obviously, it's not going to be great like Sony or this Canon right here. Is just it's the best, I think. But it really helps you learn how to use manual lenses, and hopefully the autofocus will be a lot better with that firmware update. So I'm willing to give it a try. This one has the camera and the lens pictured on the box, but I bought the camera body only, so that's not included in the box. It sure would be nice if they did send me one on accident or something, but I don't think that's going to happen. But so this is just the body only, and I went that route because for my old camera, the first camera I ever bought was a Panasonic G7, which is kind of like the entry-level best price you can do for what you get in a camera. And I still have the let's see, this is a Rokinon 12mm. It's a prime lens that is really good for, like, you know, like low light. It goes down to an f2. The aperture gets down to an f2 on this, and it's 12mm wide, so it's a pretty wide lens. It's good for like landscaping photography and stuff like that. It could do video fine. Probably actually better than most because it's a prime lens. So you find your focus and leave it, and you're covered with this lens. But I've got that left over, and I've also got the 14-140, which is the kit lens, the larger kit lens that you could buy with the cameras. And that alone, bought alone's like a $500 lens, I think. And I got it with the kit with my old camera, so I kept it, thankfully. So I'm starting out with a little something. I mean, I don't have any artistic lens or special lenses for it. I'd like to get a wide angle so I could use this camera for vlogging and those style videos, but for now I'm stuck with those two. But let's get into it. This box is basically, reminds me a lot of the G7 when I had it, same color, a little bit bigger. I guess if you got the lens, you need it to be bigger, but it's kind of the same ball game as the G7. I always feel like I'm going to tear these things. So there's that. That's a little door, just a spacer. This little door's got your manual and probably some warranty information. This is the about the upgrade of the firmware, so this should tell me how to download the firmware and what the firmware consists of, the new update to it, and then some guides. So I got that in there. This next layer, okay, so we got on this side, we'll go through the little stuff first. Gonna have the battery, just comes with one battery. Gonna have the battery charger. This right here, I don't know what that is. Looks like some kind of mount. Maybe mount something, I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to look into that. Gonna have your strap right here, GH5 strap. Got your wall cord to plug into your power brick. I assume that's how that works. And also a USB Type-C cord. Maybe this thing charges off USB-C. That would be nice. It looks like all we got left is the camera body itself. So let's go ahead and lose the box here. Strap. Lose that. Don't need that. All your cables. I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff just to clear up some room on the table here. Battery. About the size of my Canon battery, so pretty good size. Probably won't last as long with this camera having so many features. But it's a 1860 milliamp, which is a pretty good size. I believe that's about what the Canon has on there. So there's the battery. Here's the charger. Ooh, I don't like that. On here, you got just the cable where you put in there to run it to the wall for power, but there's no prongs that flip out like most people do, like the Canon and my Sony. I think the Sony's got it, but they got flip out where you can plug it straight into the wall and charge it. With this system, this cable's mandatory to make this work, and I don't really like that. I think that's a little too much work when they can add that feature for nothing. I guarantee you it doesn't cost nothing to do that. So I don't really like that about it, but nothing's perfect. So here's the camera. Got a little protective case here kind of thing, a little kind of like a velvet type cover, and there it is. So it's really nice. It's like a hard coated material, and it feels metal. The whole entire thing feels metal. Got your battery on the bottom here. I'll go ahead and pop that in. See if it's got a charge on it. I like the little switch here too. If you can see it with the light, it's got the... you don't have to hold it either. It stays either open or locked. So some of them you got to hold all the way around, and I don't really like having to do all that. So that's kind of cool. There's a little rubber piece right there. Must be something up under it. I don't know. Then you got your hook up there. On this side, this is a cool feature on the GH5, is you get dual SD cards. Now, I don't really need that, but for people wanting to use this for a more professional and I guess using a lot of 4K, having both of those slots to be able to use them both for large files is nice. And I believe that they're hot swappable. That means you can be recorded, and as one card fills up, you can pull it out and not affect the other card while it's working. So you can constantly record stuff over. I mean, you don't have to stop while we're switching cards. So that's pretty neat. On this top, you got your remote slot right here where you plug in a remote. On this side, that's where everything else is. You got your mic up here on top. Then you got a headphone jack, which is nice to see on a camera, which at this price range, you need to see. And up under, this is one of the reasons I really like this, is you get a full-size HDMI port. So there ain't no more ordering these special cables just to see your camera through a monitor or a TV or something. You just use a standard HDMI cable. And that's really convenient because that's one less cord you got to buy or keep up with. So that's cool. And obviously you got your USB at the bottom. I assume that's the USB-C. It is. So USB-C at the bottom. So that's cool. Looking at this is like a vlogging camera, which I want to try. I don't have the right lens to do it with. This can work, but it's not really ideal because you don't have autofocus. But going that route, this right here is the main game changer. Just like on the G7, as anybody watching this video already knows, it's got an articulating screen, but that's a lifesaver. If you're trying to frame up a shot, you can just look at yourself or look at whatever you're doing from a different angle and still see it all. So that is definitely nice to see. On the top here, I like this little mode dial over here, which chooses like a single shot, multi-shot, 6K. Then you got your, over here, you got your time lapse. And I believe that's just a timed timer where you just hit the button and it'll take the picture in like 10 seconds, whatever you set it up as. But to have that right at your fingers and be able to touch it and move it so easily and not having to go through the menus and change stuff every time, I like that. I like how quick it is. Same thing with the autofocus here. You got autofocus single, continuous, and manual focus. And just to have it right there on a real switch is nice. Compared to my A6500, you got to go into the function if you have it set as a function, and then move over and hit it, and it's a lot longer process. So I like this better. Right here we got a joystick, so you can navigate your menus with it. You don't have to rely on left, right, or wheel movements. There's so many different ways you can go about using this camera as far as controls, but the joystick is definitely cool. I've never used it. I've used it in the store one time just looking at the GH5, but that's a really cool feature. And normally you don't get that feature in something that's priced at this range, where like I bought it on sale, but the camera sells for $2,000. Usually you find that in $3,000 to $3,500 cameras to get the joystick. It's like that. So that's a welcome feature for sure. Let's flip the screen out and turn it on, and I'll show you the joystick. Let's see, it looks like we do have a battery. No memory card. Okay, let's fix that. Okay, so there's your memory card. Alright, so click on menu, and here's the joystick, and you can just move it up and down, and if you click, you can go into it. It's like an OK button when you click it, kind of like your middle set button over here. So that is really cool. Display right here changes your stuff. I noticed by using it in the store, first time I picked it up and held it, my thumb hit this display button right there. Like the ball of my thumb was hitting it on accident. So you gotta make sure you grip your thumb in between this and this and this, like kind of up at an angle. Because I hit that multiple times when I was picking it up from the store like this and picking it up and trying to look through it. I'd be hitting the display button and it's jacking my screen around like that. So that is something to consider. You just got to get used to, I assume. I think it's really nice. It's really solid. I mean, it's heavy duty. It reminds me a lot of this Canon right here, with the material being a little rougher on this. But it feels really heavy, and I like that just because you're getting quality. Another thing to note is this mode dial right here. It picks your settings, like manual or movie mode or your custom settings. You find one you want to stay on. Like for me, I'll probably stay on movie, and you can lock it in the middle so this doesn't turn. So your settings aren't going to get moved or altered with when they're in like a bag for say. I like this thing so far. Obviously I'm gonna have to put it to use to see what I think it can do and what I know I want it for, and obviously I'm going to have to see what it can do and to see if it's going to handle what I want it to do, which I'm sure it will. I really want to get a wide angle lens. I think that'll help me a lot. I hope everybody liked the unboxing video here and learned maybe a thing or two they didn't already know about this. You know, there's videos all over YouTube about this camera, but this is just my way of looking at it, and I'm probably going to do maybe like a 3-month review, maybe use this pretty heavy for 3 months. And then do another video and tell you what I think about it, and really focus on autofocus, because that's the main thing I'm concerned about. Because other than that, this camera can do it all. It could do 180 frames per second, 1080p, which is like super slow motion. And I always want cameras to have slow motion because I enjoy playing with it. My Sony has it, and this has it. So that's two that I can use that have them capabilities to have them type of like cinematic stuff. So I'm probably going to do like a review later down the road about that. Tune back in later on for when I do the review of this after I've used it for a while. I hope everybody has a good Christmas coming up. This was actually bought as a Christmas present to myself, so that's why it's here. And I took my G7X Mark II back and put it towards this and bought this. So I'm pretty stoked about trying it. But hope everybody liked the video, like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.